Yes, we do have a special pop-in visitor, Dr. George Kirk from AstraZeneca, the global product lead for Koselugo. And he is going to give you an update on activities in South America right now.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, Annette asked me to join. It's quite a short update. I mean, we've made regulatory submissions for Koselugo for pediatric NF1 plexiform neurofibroma in Brazil and Mexico. So the Brazil regulatory submission was made last year. We're hoping to have a decision on that fairly soon. The Mexico submission was made towards the end of last year, so it's probably going to be towards the end of this year before we hear any decision there. Outside of those two countries, we haven't progressed any regulatory submissions, and the reason for that is mainly, as you know, the approval we have in the US for Koselugo was based upon Dr. Wiedemann's trial, who I can see on the call as well, the SPRINT trial, which was a single arm phase 2 study. And so in terms of regulatory pathways, we are restricted by which countries may be open to considering such a trial for approval. Hence why we've focused on Brazil and Mexico, because we believe we have potential regulatory pathways in both those countries. So that was the main update. I don't know if there's any questions, but that's the current status of the regulatory submissions in South America.
George, this is Brigitte. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Brigitte, yeah.
Awesome. If you were to get approval in Brazil or in Mexico, would that potentially open a path to approval in other countries in South America? Or would that be completely independent?
My understanding, Brigitte, it's independent. However, having approval in Brazil and Mexico may also allow other means of access for patients in other countries in South America. But that depends on the country, really. But there are other ways of maybe getting access once there is approval in those two countries.
Thank you. And on that end, I definitely want to take the opportunity to thank George, because he's been most amazing working with us through so many hurdles. And thanks for.
Oh, we lost you, Brigitte.
May I ask a question to Dr. Kirk?
Sure.
Thank you for your update. And on our end in Colombia, the regulatory entities that manage this sort of thing are both the Ministry of Health and INVIMA. And we're currently very, very interested in getting Koselugo approved, whether it's on an off-label basis or a full approval. And I realized that you're talking about the SPRINT study, which is Dr. Wiedemann's study, but I'm pretty sure that there are many medications that go through the process of approval after undergoing phase 2 studies. So on our end, from specialists in Colombia, we're definitely very, very interested in getting the ball rolling, sort of say. So we'd be glad to have any contacts on our end that could aid AstraZeneca's effort in Colombia.
That would be incredibly useful. Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Kirk. Thank you for being here today. Is it possible to talk about how people could look into getting open access support if it is not yet approved in their country?
Yeah, that's a good question, Jeshri. We do have an expanded access program that it's open. I don't think it's open in countries in South America. Potentially, it may just be in Brazil right now. But that's another option that we could look to open it to countries in South America. But even outside of that expanded access program, if there are patients in countries in South America with a high unmet need who need access, they can always request that through compassionate use grounds to AstraZeneca, and there is a process for doing that. The easiest way would be through the actual program we have running, but I can certainly look at which countries in South America we could open that to. Currently, I believe it's only Brazil.
Great, thank you. And I think maybe we could, Patrice or Annette, we could pass that on to Dr. Bauer as we have that information.
I just wanted to throw out a quick shout out to George, because when the discussion came up this morning about what is the situation with AstraZeneca, I texted George and 3 hours later he is with us. So that shows Dr. Kirk's commitment to NF. So George, you are a friend of this family and I want to deeply thank you.
No, it's not a problem, Annette. Funnily enough.
And super smart.
Yeah, I really, that's when I was cut out, but I really wanted to thank George. And, you know, of course, the collaboration over the years has just been amazing, really wonderful.
Thank you, Brigitte. It wasn't difficult to join, Annette. Funnily enough, we're still in lockdown, so we're not doing very much at the weekend. So.
Sí, quisiera yo en este momento, creo que quisiera que nuestras familias en Latinoamérica se unan a las familias aquí en los Estados Unidos, porque como se vieron, tenemos niños con neurofibromas plexiformes grandes en la cara, así que queremos tener, yo sé que pronto este acceso expandido no está para todos los países, al parecer México y Brasil, pero quisiera, si hay casos especiales con niños jóvenes con plexiformas que se estén creciendo muy rápido, tengamos la opción de llamar a AstraZeneca y nos ayuden con nuestras familias. Para mí esta reunión ha sido fundamental en realmente mostrarle a CTF y a AstraZeneca lo importante que hay muchos niños, hay más familias en otras partes del mundo que necesitan de la ayuda de todos nosotros. Gracias, gracias a todos, de verdad. Annette, thank you. Gracias, y George por estar aquí también. Y Dr. Blakely, excelente.